All right, we are live. Tap in Birdie BMW Championship here with Brendan Porath of the Shotgun Start. Very happy to have you on. You seem like a very sought after guest. Got texts from everybody today.
That's
Pumped to have you on. So I'm hyped that you're joining tonight.
good. It's an honor. It's an honor to be here. That sounds like bunch of hot air about sought after. There's not a lot of people that need my opinions anymore.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me, though. It's an honor
no,
to
of
be here.
course. We started out with PGA. We had to get the producer. We had to get the back end, in first. But how does it feel that PJ is kind of becoming a star now? I mean, people love him. People want him on the pod. Cam Young goes out and wins. He's got customized merch before the tournament's even over. I mean, like PJ's the man now.
I mean, it's awesome. It's great. He has. We run into. Not to sound like a douche, but like some people of note, at a major here or there. He for sure has the highest Q rating. People want PJ. They love PJ. They want more PJ. He's fit in great. We are very, very lucky to have him. He's he's a sicko. He's just, and it's not just golf. Like he knows more about baseball and football and all this stuff. And he just lets it rip. And he's we want him. We never thought we'd be in a position where we'd be tricky to introduce a third person and the Shotgun Start at least. And people want more. We try to get him in more as much as possible. He's very like a very humble guy. And it's like, oh, I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to jump in, but he's the best. He's the best. He's
I mean, you guys are out here, interviewing the next Democratic nominee for president.
He did that.
Cam Young.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys got a lot. You guys got a lot going on. I am very happy for Joseph Lamagna. I know he kind of stuck his neck out on Tommy at Travelers, and it obviously didn't end well. And
what did he say? He's like, it's happening.
I think he tweeted I hope the Tommy haters are ready to apologize tomorrow about him and the Travelers, which is tough to do. But I think Cam Young winning and him, rectifying that, I think that cancels it out. So he's even, and I think he, might have taken it a little bit lighter with Tommy yesterday, whatever.
I mean, you get burned once. I mean, was that worse than Travelers? He contended on our
I think Travelers was worse.
Why?
I don't think that it is an absolute given to shoot -1 over the final 3 holes at Southwind. That those 17 and 18 are very difficult golf holes. It's not like, oh, we're just gonna par these two. Again, 17 of Travelers, you're at mid-iron. I mean, he had 200 in after a decent drive. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm down to do the Tommy stuff. Now, I think personally that these were 2 of his best chances to win any golf tournament. I think some of his runner-ups in the past or his third place finishes in the past were not as he is in control of the golf tournament. And I think it's almost impressive that he did it so. Oh, no.
Good.
We got a call. I've never gotten a call during TIB. I usually do it a little bit later.
Jam it. You're good.
We got a business call. I hope she's not offended. It will be okay. It will be all good. But to me, I thought Tommy was going to go away for a little bit after the Travelers, and I was honestly very impressed to see him show up at St. Jude last week.
I was too. By the way, I was on Golf Channel this morning with Gary Williams, and you know how when you're on calls and you do the thumbs up and those bubbles now, it's like AI or something?
Yeah.
I was going like that, and on his screen on television, there was thumbs up bubbles going off on Golf Channel. So getting a call is no big deal. Everybody does this from the that's actually more forgivable than what happened this morning. I was surprised. We saw him contend again this year, quite honestly, after Travelers, to your point. It's sort of been the understanding that he's been going through it since the Travelers thing. That was took a chunk of flesh. and he's been struggling with that and dealing with it. And but credit to him, he was back in the. I mean, he's having a great year still. He's like all the data and the numbers and all that stuff, and the ball striking or Tommy. I think even above average for Tommy levels, right? You know more about this than I do, but I was still surprised to see him, essentially leading a golf tournament for 95% of it, really, since Thursday through Sunday at the final. Well, I guess Scotty jumped out earlier on Sunday, but I was surprised he was in contention again, based on what we heard coming out of Travelers and sort of the weeks and aftermath following that.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show when he gets on a Tommy Fleetwood golf course, it's like, yo, it's not really that long, but it's going to play pretty difficult, and you have to hit a bunch of fairways and just stripe your like middle irons. Like, he's going to show up. And I think that more and more it's going to happen. And, I thought what was really interesting to me is I thought the two Sunday rounds he played at Travelers and yesterday were very similar. Like, they kind of went through the same highs and lows, where he's going into the final round with a lead, and he bogeys the first hole on both of them, has a very uninspired start after that, a bunch of pars, and then he starts to get going, and we see the golf he was playing earlier in the week, and he makes a bunch of birdies, and he's firmly in contention and in control of the golf tournament to win. And then he gets to the final 4 holes, like, once he becomes the favorite. And I know Tron was talking about it on No Laying Up. He's like, it feels like every decision he makes feels so monumental. And it feels like he's going back and forth with Finno, and he's changing clubs, and he's doing all this. And it's, Tron's just like, dude, just commit and hit the shots we've been seeing you hit all week. But to not get into a playoff at 16, which he obviously would have had no chance to win, was a bit tough to see.
Yeah, you wonder if like Finno's the guy there now, right? They're so close. And Lamagna was talking about this on our podcast about his like strategy not being sound. But like doesn't the strategy change when you like I wonder if, not to get like the dime store psychoanalysis stuff going, but like, does the strategy change when you don't feel like you can go to stuff under the gun? And so like, is it a matter of calling the right play, or is it a matter of like thinking that you cannot execute that play? And I think it's a combination of both. Like, he is maybe making some poor strategic choices because he doesn't feel like he can pull it off, or is anxious that it's maybe a 50-50 proposition, whereas if it's Thursday afternoon, it's an 80-20 kind of deal. Like, I realize this is dime store stuff, psychoanalysis, but like, I don't know that you can just purely say it's strategic choices. There were some issues with, Lamagna called out his layup on 18 on Saturday night. There was do I go high or low at 16? Like, for me, that was, I guess that was, I don't know. There were a lot of unforgivable shots between there down the stretch. I think maybe his approach shot from the fairway on 17 was sort of overlooked.
And you could see the writing on the wall because I thought NBC did a really good job of capturing the caddy conversations on 18 in the playoff and early in the round. Like, they just kind of let them, cook. And it was, I really enjoyed that because it's obviously a big shot, but again, like, 17 is a really, really hard hole. But at the end of the day, Justin Rose, JJ Spawn, and Decky last year all birdied it on Sunday to win. And, for Tommy to hit a good drive, he was kind of blocked out by the tree. He just felt really uncomfortable with hitting, a cut there. But, again, shout out Tron, he tweets, you have to birdie 16 here. You have to birdie 16. Well, if Tommy wants a birdie on 16, how's 7 feet for par? Like, how's a tester
lucky to par,
for par there? And, that shot he hit in, I'm pretty sure Ricky, he ended up in the same spot. That was a popular spot to end up. It's not like, an automatic birdie from the fairway there. But, it just goes to show it's cliche, but how hard it is to win on a PGA Tour. You shoot 63, 64 the first 2 days. You have a pretty average Saturday, and Sunday you make a bunch of birdies, and it's still not enough because JJ and Rose really just made everything. It seemed like on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's sort of like absolving Tommy too much. Say, like, I feel like Keegan kind of went and got it a little bit. Keegan made him work for it at Travelers. I feel like he didn't really have to work for this one. Just not like completely shit his pants. Can I curse on this?
Yes.
Like shit himself over the last, like, I don't know, par in. I guess he probably would pars in. He's in a playoff, right? And so. I don't know. Like, he was horrendous. Like, it's not just birdie on 16. I think, like, talking like Rose, I get it. He made 4 birdies in a row. He's just a total class champion, was flagging it. Aside from the approach shot on 9 that was bizarre in the middle of the water, like, he played well. But it wasn't like someone took this from Tommy, in my opinion. He gagged it, in my opinion.
Yeah. No,
Keegan, I thought.
I agree. And Tommy... The thing that's, I guess, frustrating is that he's shown on these Sundays that he can make the birdies.
Yeah.
But once he gets ahead, it's like it would have been one thing if he only made one of those 3 birdies he made in the middle part of the back 9, and he was just never really in it. But, to get to that point, I mean, he had to shoot 4 over on the weekend to win this golf tournament, which, it's a tough course, 2 under 2 days. I mean, it's just tough when he, puts himself in that position. It just feels very unsustainable. And I have serious doubts if he will ever close it. But I do think, it's not like Tommy's had a million of these. I mean, I think, this, Canada, and Travelers are as easily as 3 best opportunities, and they've all happened within the past 2 years. So I will give him, it's not like he's blown a million things. Like, the runner-up at Shinnecock is not like the runner-up at Travelers. It's just not.
No.
So do you think he will win on the PGA Tour?
I think this is kind of becoming a bit, right? It was like a thing, like a real thing in his brain, right? I think, it was whatever. It was like this stupid little joke, like, where Zinger would discredit, European Tour wins. And it was just this bit, like obviously had won. He'd play well in Ryder Cups and pressurized situations and things like that. But now it feels like a true problem in his head and a monkey on his back. And I think he's going to win. I mean, look, I said this morning, I'm like a Cleveland sports fan. It eventually happened for us. I think he's in it too many times and he plays a good amount. Like, he plays a lot. It's not like he goes away for a month like some of these Euros do. I think he's probably going to win. He gets himself in too much.
Yeah.
You? Or do you think it's like done? I could see it after these last 2.
I definitely could see him just not winning on the PGA Tour. And I think that realistically, like at a certain point, water finds its level. Yeah. And I guess Travelers in this week kind of felt like water's finding its level and it's going to happen. And he just didn't look like he was the man for the task.
It's amazing to watch, though, right now. It's like it's cinema.
I think it is probably like the most compelling story on the PGA Tour right now. I guarantee the ratings will be great for NBC because I can always tell when I have my casual golf fans completely locked into a tournament. The times I can remember outside of the majors where I've said it a million times. We keep saying Travelers and St. Jude. Like, everyone's texting me like, this is unbelievable. Like, that was an unbelievable PGA Tour event. I was easily top 3 of the year outside of the majors.
It was a good one.
It was, and I don't think it gets a lot of hate. I think Southwind is a great course for the PGA Tour. The time of year and everything's a bit tough and everything, but I think, it's a great test. It's a great winning score. There's drama on the final holes. I really enjoy it, to be completely honest.
All right. I mean, yeah, that's fine. I get it. Yeah, you're right. It is like a fine professional golf test, right? There is like, you can't just send it all over the yard. I get it. it's just, I don't know. It's in a freaking office park in Memphis, and they play it in August, and that like will never appeal to me. But I get it. I get it.
It's produced some good events, and
It
I will
has.
give it that.
It has, I guess. You're right.
Justin Rose is your winner. Does this make up for a green jacket? I feel like it does to a certain extent. Like Rose being a 2 major guy, but now he's a 1 major guy, but he has a FedEx St. Jude. I don't know. I think it's pretty close. Like it's close to a certain aspect, right?
No, clearly not. No, but he has. I mean, he's won a FedEx Cup, right? I mean, that's not nothing. I would say that is that his second greatest accomplishment outside of the Marion U.S. Open, this FedEx Cup title. Am I overlooking something?
I'm probably getting to number 1 in the world. Would say.
Well, yeah, I guess that's a sort of career achievement, or so to speak. Yeah, I mean it's a legit win. We know that. I mean it's whatever, 69 player field, but I don't know. He's won me over. Like, of course, he's kind of a doofus and self-unaware, and he somehow ends up in more pictures with no one else around him that aren't selfies, but we don't know why. He's, grilling by himself. He's on the way to
the train. I love
the train platform.
Really like the
by
train
himself. One. He's walking he's like walking to dinner by himself. He's complete like clown on social media and self-unaware. But I really have kind of enjoyed him like giving a damn in his 40s and late into his 40s. And when, everybody was talking about the live thing today, like, oh, well, his cohort went to live. I saw and heard that take like all last night and today. And I guess that's technically accurate. I don't even know. He might not be friends with any of those guys. He might have hated their guts. I'm not saying that's the case, but just to suggest, he's some sort of hero for not going to live and deciding to compete for millions of dollars as a golfer at 45. We should build a statue. I think is a little overdoing it, but I have really enjoyed like the meaning that he's found in playing and trying to win in his 40s, and not really surprising to see him do it at a place like Memphis.
No, I think that, if you could do what he did Sunday at the Masters, I mean, you could do it any place, anytime. And I think that, not that it was a mass narrative, everyone was talking about it, but that Masters took a lot out of him. There's no doubt in my mind. And if you look at his form and what he did after, I mean, this was a guy that was in some of the worst form on the entire PGA Tour. I mean, his game completely fell off a cliff, and rightfully so. No one's blaming him for that. And he gets over to the pond. He has good 2 weeks, and he beats one of the best fields, best 70-man fields you could, possibly do, and take down a bunch of Ryder Cups in the meantime. It's just really impressive. There are certain guys when they get in the mix and they get going, they just seem to make the putts.
I mean, I agree with that. And that's why he's so lethal at the Ryder Cup thing. He's like scares the hell out of me, and was even in Scotland, in Italy. If he wins the Masters, what's like the last major was such a like either or, like the dividing line of this is amazing versus man, Justin Rose, Masters winner, cool, great player, one of the best players of his generation, versus what we got. Is that like, is it as
well, we would be talking about Rory like we're talking about Tommy Fleetwood. I don't think
that's probably true.
Like I think a lot of people would have been a career ender for Rory in the majors, at least.
I think that's right.
Truly.
That's right.
But I mean, Rose, again, if he wants to be on some Twitter lists, I mean, I think he's solidified his spot as the greatest one-time major winner of all time. I think he has that pretty much locked up, greatest one-time major winner of all time. Him, Sergio, Furyk, Adam Scott are kind of I think those are the top 4.
Okay.
But I think Rose has the most accomplishments out of all of them. And I think I know it was brought up this morning. I love listening on my way to work. I was very jealous of Gary. Was that like the most casual flex of all time, that he was just on the RNA balcony this morning? I mean, how did that happen?
I don't know. I don't know what that was. That was kind of, I was like pretty rubbing in my face, right? I'm like, just in my little suburban office here. Yeah, that was a sick backdrop. russicks on the 18th.
Like I
fairway.
like felt old Tom Morris through
Right.
the car stereo.
I love this best one-time major debate, though.
It has to be Rose now.
I need to better understand the universe there.
If Adam Scott was in contention, no one would have thought about him contending and making, like, Adam Scott would never make those putts that Justin Rose made.
Absolutely.
And I think at their peak, they were just equally as good. I don't think Sergio, I think Sergio's third or fourth. I think Fiork's had a really underrated career, but I think Justin Rose is undoubtedly the greatest one-time major winner of all time. Will he get another? I don't know how many more opportunities he's going to have other than finishing runner-up at Troon and finishing in a playoff with Rory. Like, can lightning strike 3 times?
Those feel like I mean, it travels pretty well. Like, his game, he's got a lot more. He's got crazy speed, like crazy, like underrated speed.
For
not
45,
not crazy speed relative to Richard Teeter, Bryson DeChambeau, people like that, but crazy, like, underrated. I remember watching him and, like, Sergio in that playoff in whatever that would have been, 17. They were both, like, just ripping it 335 yards, like, consistently. Rose that was like 8 years ago. I know he's gotten older, but I don't know. Feels like he'll have another shot at a Masters. I don't know if it will be as good as the one this year.
I don't know. I don't know if something like that can happen again. I mean, that was the greatest week of his life. Not like, I'd say Marion was better, but I mean, he's just had so many great opportunities to win another major. And it's more than anything. Obviously, he's not going to show up for the Valero. But, like, he's coming up for these big events. I mean, this is what he's, working super hard for and everything. And, I think he'll likely be the next European Ryder Cup captain at Deer Manor. Potential Keegan situation there. I'm just flagging it now. Like, are we going to take Rose playing captain or Aaron Rai or someone like that? I'm starting the dialogue now. I think that is totally fair. Do you think he'll be captain at a Deer?
That's a good question. Allegedly Tiger is slotted for the American side because he's boys with JP McManus and he's requested it and all that. Rory said he's not going to do it. I mean, Rory's going to be a player. It's an interesting question. Could they bring back Padraig Harrington?
Yeah, I think it has to be Rose, but I did hear some rumblings with my proper blokes saying an Englishman will never represent the Irish in a Deer Manor. We're not having an Irish playing captain in a Deer Manor. So that there could be some beef there.
I mean, that does create sort of an issue. I don't know. Not a big issue, but who had it at the K Club? Was that Woozy? Was it Ian Woosnam that was at the K Club? I guess
K Club, I believe, was Paul McGinley.
No, not this captain, though. That's when he won it. McGinley won it at the K Club. But as captain, it might have been Woozy. But yeah, I don't know. Rose could be an option there. I guess I'm wondering, like, who are the assistants at this point? It's Molinari, Dodo, and now Francesco, I think, is probably going to help. You've got Thomas Bjorn, like, remains, and Olafabal remain in these sort of.
He's kind of the enforcer of the squad.
Yeah. There's some interesting stories about Thomas Bjorn being a complete psycho. Rose, I guess, feels like a natural next guy. All the live guys are, unless they're reintegrated into the whole.
They'll take Rose over him. It's just a matter of if he's still going to be pumping out, wins and playoff losses in 2 years, which I think he easily could be. To be honest.
Maybe they give Harrington another shot. Although I don't know if he was super well received.
I'm not.
By the Whistling Straits.
I'm not sure.
McGinley's another Irishman. I think he's done enough. Dining out on 2014 at this point.
Yeah. So again, where do you kind of land on the Twitter Ryder Cup discourse?
What's the discourse? What do you mean?
Like, everyone giving their teams, everyone giving their opinions, like everyone talking about it on podcasts, everyone debating the 12th spot. Like, where are you at on that? Because I love it, and it does get tiresome sometimes.
I love it. I think it's fun. I mean, like, God, why don't we, like, getting it, if it wasn't a Ryder Cup, we'd be talking about like more dumbass like player of the year debate, like which no one cares about, but it's something we have to talk about. Like, oh, is it? I mean, last year is it Xander versus Scotty? I think this year is probably clearly Scotty. It's two major wins. So Rory has an argument. Look at this. I'm doing it myself. I just talked myself into work there, but yeah, I love it. I don't think you can overdo it. I think it's highly amusing. I think we did that mule wheel on CBS
Yeah, that was good.
Sports.
That was
And
good
it's like
content.
that's sort of leaning into the we literally will talk about anyone. Oh, could he be a Ryder Cupper? Brian Campbell. He's won twice. Nobody's won. That's a significant achievement on the PGA Tour. I can't get enough of it. I think
it's fun. There's nothing like it in golf, and that's why it's great.
Right.
Like there's nothing even really like it in sports. No one cares who gets really picked for the USA basketball team.
Right. It's one of those things where you can do like a little bit of like NFL draft type coverage, right? Where it's like, oh my God, this is way too much. Like scouting reports for this, that, and the other, and we're blowing this out of proportion. And I'm not saying it's to that extent, but people like that and people have fun with it. And it's the only time in golf you can kind of go down that road. And so I have no problem with the discourse. Do I think like it's commensurate with like how much it matters and how little we talk about it as soon as like the Ryder Cup's over? No, but it's a fun thing to do in a Ryder Cup year from essentially January to September. Okay. I don't like, do you recall a Ryder Cup though, where we talked a lot about the roster choices after it's over? Like, oh my God.
Well, Keegan in Rome.
They not taking Keegan in Rome? I
think people always bring that up.
Oh, or Paris. People thought they should. I mean, Brandel was the one. He's like, you got to take him in Paris because he hits it long and straight. He's accurate. And we were so ill suited for Paris.
Yeah, Bryson and Phil
thrown anybody out there for that. But Finau, just that was a mess.
And I think people were always like, oh, Kisner should have been taken for Paris. Because I think he won match play that year.
He won Austin, which doesn't matter. It's not immaterial to the actual. But I just feel like we talk about it. I am all for it, and then it happens, and then there's no real actual accounting of this was a bad choice and here's why. It's sort of like this captain was a disaster. There's never really a roster analysis. I remember LaMagna talks about Cam Young being done like they would have won if Cam. Nobody aside from that occasional sicko throwing something out. Nobody really does.
It's like in Rome, not a single person really questioned Ricky making the team. No one was like he shouldn't be on the team. He had a really great year. He fell off after his win at Rocket, and he was their worst player. I mean, he played twice and he was sick. No one could have ever really foreseen that happening. We were never going to not take Ricky. Yeah. So it just kind of is, what it is. But I'm telling you right now, when Cantlay goes 3-0-1, I will be up in people's fucking face on Twitter hard because the Cantlay discourse has gotten so out of control. And I know I'm talking about a small corner of the internet.
Anti-Cantlay discourse.
Anti-Cantlay discourse is unbelievably terrible, and it really upsets me.
Really? Have they not been watching the last 6-8 years or whatever? I know he's not having his typical year, and he's a joyless sort of, curmudgeon. This isn't a suggestion we go get a case of beer with him and hang out. But if you've been watching these team events, I don't understand how there's a lot of anti-Cantlay, even with the year he's had.
I don't think, and I will say I'm a Cantlay supporter and defender. I'm not just I genuinely do like him to a certain extent. Okay. I don't think a person's gotten more of a bad rep for playing slow on one hole in one golf tournament than Patrick Cantlay at
which
2023 Masters on 16 when Brooks and Rahm were behind him.
We're staring. You had that all-time screenshot. Yeah.
He just now he's the slowest play. Okay. I can't do the Cantlay thing yet.
And they had the stopwatch out for him at Harbortown the next week. Remember there was some fan in the pine straw over there. Yeah.
And look, he's got a okay. I can't go there.
All right.
I think the question right now for the U.S. Ryder Cup team is Keegan going to be a playing captain or not? Because I think after Travelers, everyone was just fuck it. this U.S. team sucks. Like, you know, a lot of guys haven't emerged yet. He just won Travelers, which turns out, you know, it was kind of a crowning given who he was going up against. And now, since then, I mean, Harris has locked up a spot since then. Like,
Henley's solid, like solid. Maybe he wasn't at that point.
But what? Because my thoughts are on it. Chris Gotterup or Sam Burns on this U.S. Ryder Cup team, that is not going to, in any world, lose you the Ryder Cup. And Gotterup and Sam Burns on this U.S. Ryder Cup team in a month is not going to detrimentally hurt your chances to win, and it's not going to be a distraction. Keegan Bradley being on the team and taking one of their spots, not saying they deserve the spots, but it's basically him or them, could backfire. It just can, and it will be a massive distraction. And Keegan is not that much better at golf than either of those two guys. That skill gap, Keegan over one of them, is not going to make or break the Ryder Cup, but I think him being a playing captain could. So my opinion right now is that he should not be a playing captain.
That's not I think that I like that analysis, right? It's like, I do feel like the 12th guy, and this sort of goes to my preceding point of like, do we end up, like, this isn't like taking Greg Oden over Kevin Durant. There's just not that kind of like Monday morning quarterbacking that happens after a loss. It just doesn't, especially as it pertains to the last guy on the roster. But like the Keegan thing just puts it more in the microscope of like, you become the fall guy, like all on your shoulders in a way that even if you play, you know, decent yourself, you're a likable person, which I would suggest Zach Johnson, like sort of was not, he like opened himself up to a lot of arrows. I think I'm with you on that analysis. What's crazy to me is like we put all this stock in like one win on a Sunday in Cromwell, Connecticut, and I get that he had played well. That wasn't just out of nowhere. He's been good for the first several months of the year, and you know, was a viable option last time in Rome, a 13th guy or whatever he was. But like Monday of that, like, well, he's in, he's locked, and here we are now 2 months later, less than 2 months later. It's like, this is the nightmare deal because he's kind of probably 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. And we've gone from a year ago or even this year saying like, if he's one of the 6 AQ auto qualifiers, I'm playing, but I will not play otherwise. And then at Travelers, he's like totally moved the goalposts on us and said, if I can help the team. And I understood it because it looked like he wasn't going to break into 6, but was clearly one of the best 7 to 8 Americans and just a normal, like a suitable option. He's 10 now. I like your analysis and breakdown. So who are your 6 here on August 11th?
So, okay. So, like the 6 autos, they're all in.
Yeah.
And then it would be Russ Henley, Justin Thomas.
Henley's in already.
Okay, so it would be JT, Colin Morikawa.
I have questions about like he should, like, I know he's 8th. Like it's hard to pass the guy who's in 8th, but I have like real questions about whether
he might suck, but you can't take the number. You can't not take a 2-time major winner, 8th player in the world, like Colin Morikawa on the team. Who, like, if you were leaving him off, like Sam Burns, Gotterup, Brian Harman, I would rather have Colin there. He might.
Who's the better golfer right now, Jordan Spieth or Colin Morikawa?
I knew you were going to bring up Spieth because I listened to your podcast.
Why wouldn't it bring up Spieth? That's all there is right now.
Then he could be in the conversation with Burns and Gotterup for that final spot.
No, Morikawa's a better golfer. I'm not suggesting.
Morikawa and JT I have concerns about. Both of them are wild cards. They could suck.
Easily. But they're on. No matter.
Then I think in most likely order, Cantlay is on the fucking team. I can't even do it. Cantlay is on the team. He is going to 9. That's 9. I think Ben Griffin, he's going to get picked.
Okay.
I don't necessarily he's playing unbelievable golf. He's playing unbelievable consistent golf. It's not a Keegan situation where one random week. I think Ben Griffin, the way he's playing, the way he played last week, the way he played at Wyndham, you got to have him on the team. I think he doesn't, he's not going to expire confidence with a bunch of, Mass Peak with douchebags. They're going to see Ben Griffin and be like, who the fuck is this guy? But I think he's on the team. Okay. And I think Cam Young should be on the team. I think Cam Young should be on the team.
So you're at 11.
So there's
now.
one spot.
Yeah, for Keegan, Goddard, Burns,
Sam Burns, Jordan Spieth.
And Spieth. I guess you could throw those guys in, the four of them. It's an interesting discussion. I think there's possibility Griffin gets bumped for like a boys club or the experience play kind of, which we have heard about for our entire lives. I'm not saying he should, and probably yesterday goes a really long way. Top 10 at FedEx or St. Jude. I'm not like advocating for Spieth. Yesterday he really screwed himself. Yesterday, from what I understand, he is like hotly in, or was, maybe it's changed in the last 24 hours. I don't know sources, but like he's super, super, super in the running. Was like, regardless of where he was on the points, like had a nice little spot, dinner table reserved for him. And I think, I think I even now I find it hard to believe after yesterday, like you don't even make it to the top 50. You're essentially done on August 10th. You are done on August 10th. I think he might have screwed himself and changed the dynamic. And so, if that means JT has to play with somebody other than Spieth, then so be it. Tough shit, kind of. But it does feel like Keegan, Goddard, Burns for the 12th spot. I think he's going to take himself.
Oh my gosh. Every time I play golf at Bethpage, we're going to have to see the European poster. It's going to be like the meltdown of Medina. And I don't know why JJ Spawn yesterday, we are so good for Bethpage.
Yeah.
Because
totally.
In 23, you had Harmon, and Harmon was one of their better players, but you had random American guys that wouldn't have been on the Ryder Cup team win majors in a Ryder Cup year and get on. What Spawn has done after the U.S. Open is so inspiring, and he is an elite golfer. I mean, he's above average distance and accuracy, slightly in both, like nothing crazy. Proper iron player, and the lab putter, the PE-backed lab putter is just incredible right now. It's really, really solid. He is going to be a menace at Bethpage. I truly do believe. I'm firmly in the camp that U.S. will win pretty easily. Not a hot take. I mean, just look at every single Ryder Cup. But I feel JJ has turned my corner on U.S. dominating at Bethpage.
Yeah, I'm in on JJ. I thought that was like a true toss-up yesterday with I had total confidence in both those guys that they would win. And so I feel good about him going into Bethpage. Like kind of the odd dynamic that's happened with the American side in the last, 10 years or maybe 8 years, is that forever it was like, super deep at the top, and then it was just detritus garbage that doesn't matter towards the end. It's like it that's all interchangeable. They're not going to get you anything anyways. And that was, and everybody blames Phil and Tiger and all that stuff for why, how are we not winning? We have the top 3 players in the world with Phil, Tiger, Furyk, or whatever that era would be. And I think we've seen in more recent years being sort of, an inch deep and a mile wide is the best way to be for where a point is a point. And it's of course, Scotty's the best player in the world by far, and they have that muscle, number one. But you've seen players like Max Homa really met Scotty Scheffler when he was the 12th guy. The last guys have started to really, really matter more in a way that I don't think we I wouldn't say we didn't care enough, but it was just sort of this shit's all interchangeable at the end. Whereas now, those 10 to 12 guys are usually bona fide top 16 to 20-ish players in the world who have won a bunch that year or contended top 5 did all year and could be like linchpins. Whereas the sort of big names could be kind of the problems. A Ricky, like that.
I mean, Scotty has not been great in a team
No.
event since he became number one in the world. He was fine in Canada, but he was terrible at Quail, and he was pretty poor. But again, I will say that was before he flipped the putter. So I have a lot more confidence. A little bit
was
there.
He was on the green with like Brandt Snedeker with the car lights on, just putting at Quail Hollow.
Yeah, I feel a little bit better about Scotty at Bethpage, but I mean he's gonna have to play unbelievably well. And I don't know. I mean it's not a hot take. My biggest thing, and again, I have to preface this: people sometimes get upset if we don't do the whole picks thing. Like, this is not the pod for it. We have tons of content at ISN that will talk way more about the golf board. I'll give my thought. It will be okay. But my thing, I don't know if you've seen the layout at Bethpage. Have you ever played Black?
I have in 19, but around the PGA.
They have all the grandstands on 15, 16, 17, 18. Like, not every match is going to get there. And my buddy played it the other day. He camped out for 3 days. He said there are minimal grandstands on the other side of Round Swamp.
That would, I guess, I don't know that it's makes sense, but I can see it. God, that's a hard ass walk. Like, how many fans are going to go out to like 11 and all that stuff? And
you couldn't be further. You could not be further from the clubhouse, but that's the only place you're going to see any action, because the Ryder Cup is one of the most worst in-person viewing experiences.
That's not fun
in golf, except on Sunday where there's a lot of. So I'll be out. I'll be on, 11T. Like,
that's the way to do it. I mean, so we're there this week. We're like shooting it this week. So we've got guys. I'm gonna get, I'll talk to them, get some intel. But you think it's just gonna be like a giant party on like one, and then what's the first hole back across the road? 14?
So 15, which is 15. The really hard par that goes uphill to the left. There's a match, but every match is going to get to 15. I mean, I would assume.
Probably,
And then, you're kind of in that corner there, but it will be very interesting to see. I'm sure they know what they're doing, like whatever, but there's going to be people waiting drunk in their corporate tents all day at 18 to be like, where are the golfers? Like,
I mean, that's what we've always done with these match play events. Like 18 is typically not the standard 18. Is like whatever exciting hole they want to showcase before that they know everybody will get to. But, I guess Bethpage might not have that dynamic where we must play this hole. And so it, it's not like they need to get 18 in. So.
Yeah, I'm curious if a bit of a harder course, I know they're going to soften it up, but would make for longer matches. I think it would in reality, that you would have longer matches if less birdies are being made. But I think they're going to score there. I think I'm not worried about it. Like, I shot a 95 there, so I kind of feel like they could go low to a certain extent. I will not. The Bethpage hate, it gets me a bit upset. People don't like
it's like this civic thing, right? I mean, you're local, so it's like this point of civic pride that I mean, look, we've dealt with this. I mean, like, we're not really welcome in San Diego, I don't think, because we decided to say Torrey Pines sucks there when they had the US Open in what was that, 2021, and I get it, like Bethpage is a civic treasure. I think it's a good golf course. It's fine. You get mad about the greens being boring, described as flat and boring.
I don't like when people have. It's not going to be fucking Winged Foot. I mean, I guess it could be, but it's a public course. Like, the greens aren't as unfair.
I mean, it's one of the incredible stories of the 20th century. Yeah, that Mike Davis, whatever you think of him, that they made.
Did you read the book by Feinstein?
No, I never read that.
It's good. It's good.
I've heard it's like an amazing book. Amazing story. I don't know why the USGA has gone away from that entirely with the whole anchor sites and I think venues for the next 50 years and no real Muni courses.
I think they're in the whistling camp of a couple PGAs and a Ryder Cup.
Yeah, I know. I
think, a Ryder Cup gets you 10, 15 years where they're like, we don't need to, use you.
No, I know. This is the biggest event. In New York golf? what, I don't want to say history, but because they've had so many
Yeah,
U.S. Opens, and they'll have a bunch.
I mean, it's got to be.
People are far because it's the public golf access part of
Yeah,
it too, in my
yeah,
opinion. It's
yeah,
massive.
yeah.
PJ said
No,
it's like the biggest event of his life.
yeah, no.
The
I
Long
mean,
Island.
it's
So I'm going off recency bias of talking
yeah,
about
no.
it.
I mean, it's going to be pretty
Yeah.
incredible. BMW Championship, Caves Valley. Another masterpiece of a golf course. They changed the par. They made it a little bit longer, grown up the rough. I don't think we're getting a minus 27 winner. Where are you at on the BMW Championship as a PGA Tour event, and specifically at Caves Valley?
Like it should be in Chicago. Like I'm from. It should be in a original Western Golf Association like location. I'm from Cleveland. Like we had a bunch of Western Opens in Cleveland. It should probably be in the Midwest. Whatever. If it brings Evan Scholar's opportunity to Maryland, where I live, like I'm going to be up there for probably most of the week. I've played there. It's sort of it's your dictionary definition of like the 80s, 90s golf course architecture trend, sort of a lot of things done to excess. There's it's like Fazio. I wouldn't say it's like up there with like Shadow Creek, but there's a bubbling brook going down the right side of 18. It's just they try to make it lawn and hard with rough. It's usually going to be soft. It's a cool club. Like it's like a lot of fancy folks who are really probably defensive about the low scores that occurred there, and which is why you're tinkering with par, adding some distance here, rebuilding the greens, doing this, that. Like it's a great hang. Like it's a cool club to like a good locker room and all that stuff. And there's a lot of people of note that belong there, but like it's kind of the shining example of what maybe just speaking purely golf course stuff didn't go great there in the 80s and 90s with Fazio and just throwing more money at it since the last one, throwing a bunch of money at the start. It's nice place, but not like, what does it test? What does it test for
Driving distance and putting? Right. That's what everyone's saying.
But not like, is it even like?
Yeah, apparently. I mean, the scorecard hasn't come out yet. Apparently, it's going to be a 7,600 yard par 70.
Right. And it hasn't rained much here. Like it rained a ton the first half of the summer in May and stuff, but it's been pretty dry.
I have to ask you a history question.
Yeah.
One of your most famous moments was making fun of the PGA Tour for saying that Willie Smith, what was the guy's name?
Willie Park?
Whoever won the Western
Open. 1899. It was like Willie Smith, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know the Western Open used to be like a major. How did that become the the BMW Championship? When did the PGA Tour make that? I know it's all made up, but what's the connection?
I think it happened probably around the I don't have it on me, but like I think it happened with the invention of the FedEx Cup playoffs, right? Like the Western Open no longer becomes open when it's a playoffs event because you have whatever, then it would be 100 FedEx Cup players. And so it becomes this invitational. BMW comes in, it's the championship. That was when, the tour thought it was important to go to New York, Boston, Chicago, Atlanta for its playoffs, these major markets. That's kind of not the case anymore either. So you not only lose the Western Open and Chicago roots, and that was a major championship going back to literally the 1800s, to now becoming, and like, honestly, not to shit on them, but credit to BMW for like keeping up the Evan Scholar stuff and the Western Golf Association connection, but it is not the Western Open anymore. It's 50 guys, and that's what they lost it probably when the FedEx Cup started because you literally could not have an Open. It used to be the Cialis Western Open, sponsored by the Boner Pills, like early when Tiger was going nuts at Cog Hill. So they lost it there with the playoffs.
Are you there? Cialis sponsored a PGA Tour event?
Oh yeah, Cialis Western Open.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I wish we were around for that. That would have been some great Twitter content.
Yeah, I was around for that.
To be completely honest,
yeah.
I need you to rank these three golfers in terms of their ability to win this golf tournament this week. Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
Ludwig, Cam Young, and Sam Burns.
Ludwig, Cam, rank them most likely to win, the least likely.
Because these are all driver putter guys.
Yeah.
These are popular tips.
I mean, Cameron
this
Young
week
is number one for sure.
Okay.
I think just based on recent form. I had him in a one and done. I was deciding if I use him last week or this week. I burned him last week, kept Cantlay for this week. But I would choose him first. Ludwig probably next. Some interesting signs of life in Memphis from him. Is he a driver putter guy? Is that what the gambling experts consider him to be at this point?
I would say, I mean, he's not the greatest putter in the world, but he's obviously, an elite driver, distance and accuracy. But he's really fallen off since that Farmers win. I've some concerns about him at Bethpage, but yeah, he's been a solid putter, but the ball striking is really where he kind of shines to a certain extent. I have to say, I really like Sam Burns this week. I'm going to forget about last week. I know he's had some good history here, but this was a guy that went on a really great run for a second there, and he kind of cooled off, but the irons are still good. The putter's still good. I mean, he almost won the U.S. Open and lost in a playoff the week before, and he played well here back in 2021, so I'm in on
He's
Burns
your guy. He's your guy.
I'm tipping him.
He's kind of done nothing from the U.S. Open. He's been it's not like he's been a disaster, but he's been irrelevant since Oakmont. But
where are you at on Rory caring, wanting to winning this week? Not even skipping last week, but where do you think Rory's motivated to win this week?
I was going to say no, and then I saw he was there. He's there today.
Striving 3
Monday.
Wins. 280.
I'm kind of shocked by that. I figured he would come in like Wednesday morning when he was needed for his pro-am tee time and do his work. He saw it in 21. He famously said, look, we don't want this to be hard. Like, the playoffs are just kind of an entertainment product, and they shouldn't be like the majors and shouldn't be hard. And we want it to be easy and soft. And he was saying it, fully aware that's a criticism as well. But he's like, this is what we want. Just we're all out of gas. Just make it nice and easy. It seems like he gives a damn. I'm surprised he's there. I'm surprised he's there. He's prepping. I would have, prior to this show tonight, I would have said, I don't know. Feels like he's probably going through the motions. Maybe there's some motivation to get one more on the board for the end of the year for the Ryder Cup. Maybe, but I would have been straining to make that case. Now I don't want to say I'm changing my entire tune based on him being there on Monday and
based on the tailor-made Twitter post.
No, I mean, he's there. I've seen pictures. He's there. Shane Lowry was there, and I just don't know why he needs to be, unless he's ready to get back into it.
I worry a bit about a full month layoff. I know most of the elite guys have only played once, but I don't know. I think Roy's going to be a popular pick this week. I think people it's perfect course for him. He played well here last time.
Totally.
I don't doubt it at all. Hovland, I'm a lot lower on.
What do we know about it? Yeah, I mean,
he's just really been all over the place since he won Valspar. The approach numbers have been good, but I just don't trust him
totally
at all.
I mean, he's totally unreliable. I do think this is one of those. He played well at Valhalla last year, did decent at Oakmont this year. Is this one of those places where sort of his short game deficiencies are taken out? It's just send it up by the green, and there's only one play. It's pop it from the rough, pop it. I think they're going to grow it up because, again, you've got that sort of powerful membership that's sort of salty about the scores.
Are these DC types? I haven't heard much about the
I mean, Maryland, it's Bisciotti's there, and I'm sure Michael Phelps is there. But then a lot of DC, it's guys, they all belong to other clubs, but it's you see this logo everywhere. These Caves Valley members.
Is it a good logo?
It's fine. It's like a C and a V. No, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Good's probably too.
It's no burning tray. It's no burning tray.
No, I think they sleep in this stuff and they roll out of bed and they're just head to toe in Caves Valley logos. Everybody who's a Caves Valley member is wearing this stuff at the Masters and all over the place.
I'm sure you played some nice courses. Where do you land on wearing logos of courses you haven't played?
It's fine. I know I'm not going to gatekeep that. Like, I think, within reason, it's okay.
Okay. My thing, and again, I haven't played anything unbelievable. I think for the top, like you can't wear a top 10 or 15 logo if you haven't played there. Like I would never wear a
If you haven't played there,
haven't played.
I think I'd agree with that.
Because
yeah.
it's like,
yeah,
as golf sickos, oh, nice Pine Valley hat. Like, did you play? Yeah, it was the greatest damn. Like, you want to have those conversations when people are wearing the logos.
I think that's a little off. Yeah.
It's tough, but again, I like logos. I like talking golf courses and everything like that. So it's a little bit different. Like I understand people saying, yeah, I don't care at all. But it's tough. And I will say I'm lying because my cousin, she worked at Marion and then her brother worked at Friar's Head, and I have 2 polos. But those were gifts. Okay. I did not go out and say, get me this. So that's where, fair. It's kind of tough.
That's
fair. It gets a lot of play.
Caves is a big, like, it is super nice, like all the amenities and the driving range and all that stuff. It's like a very nice place, but like it's guys who belong to 2-3 clubs and they go there and they're like, they love Caves Valley, but like the golf course itself, whatever, it's fun.
It's very like big and grand. Like it feels like a lot of elevated greens, and it just feels like a massive property.
It is a tumbling, like a ton of rolling hills and rural and a lot of land, but I don't know, it's uninspiring architecture and uninspiring course, especially for professional. Like if it's a day out with your buddies, like awesome, like cool, but like it doesn't get it done for the pros. Like we just said, it's send it and then get hot with the putter. I think
it's not a CB McDonald.
Oh, I mean, I don't need to, like, I think we get overdone. Like, I would go to Caves Valley and have a great day and enjoy myself. It's a cool spot, but as a professional golf tournament, no.
Okay. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
One more question and we'll get you out of here. We greatly appreciate your time.
Oh,
it's a great pod.
I know you went early. I appreciate you.
We gave some locks out. My voicemail that I got from this just hasn't gone away. I don't know what is going on. You pod 3 times a week about golf. It's very admirable. Sometimes I don't have enough to talk about one day a week. What is the hardest week of the year? What is there least to talk about on the PGA Tour?
That's a good one. God. RSM sucks. I think the RSM sucks.
Do you guys do it in the fall?
Yeah, we do it all the way through. We do it all the way essentially every week of the year. We take some time off around Christmas. RSM's a tough scene. Sometimes those weeks after majors, like 3M, like what are we doing with ourselves? We just went to the Open and now we got to do this and give it like a full account. But then you'll have other events like an amateur or something.
John Deere's tough too because there's no other sports going on.
That's true. There's very little happening. It's like the hot dog eating contest and that's it. There's some tough Mexico Open week, but like the reason the podcast works is of like the like minutia controversies, like the very small peripheral that somehow blow up in
Champions Tour stuff.
The weeks you never expect, right? That are just like right in our wheelhouse. But yeah, RSM I feel like is always tough.
Okay.
Tough.
How did the Champions Tour start? Like, what is the origin of Shotgun starting the Champions Tour?
I mean, just PJ. Like it wasn't like a form of hazing, but we're like, we're gonna put you on Champions Tour Minute, and you want you to come with one kernel of information for the Champions Tour, and he's like, PJ throws himself into it, and like does earnest coverage of the Champions Tour, and people have come to love it, but the first 5 or 6 years of the podcast, we were screaming that it should be abolished. Like it.
I didn't know that distinction. I didn't know that. Distinction.
Oh yeah. We're like, this is a total lark, a total waste of money. Like there's no interest in this anymore. It was a product created to like parade around Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer and Lee Trevino, which like made sense. And now it's just that caliber of stars making too much money, and before he's 50, doesn't need it, and it's just like. Guys who barely played on the PGA Tour, like making hay. But yeah, we used to say they should be abolished because there's just not enough interest in it anymore. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
that's fair. I
Yeah.
think that is fair.
Yeah, that's the real take. But PJ's doing it as a bit.
Okay. Well, you guys are great. I enjoy listening every
thank
week.
you.
Looking forward to the Bethpage content.
Yeah, we'll be up there.
Coming soon. If you need any recs, let me know. But we'll see everyone next week for the Tour Championship. Hope everyone has a great night, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you having me.